Hello, I'm 𝗦𝗱𝗆𝗍𝗶 here with David Idemudia ahead of his fight against 𝗦𝗱𝗱𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏s. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. And how are you feeling ahead of this upcoming fight?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm just excited to fight another top middleweight in the country, He's number three in the UK, and I'm just craving to prove myself as one of the best fighters in England. And I believe getting this fight and getting the finish hopefully would state that and put my name out there further.
Exactly, and like what Fight Star described the fight as, it's the two of the best middleweights in the country. Do you feel like with you guys being the best, it is guaranteed to be an absolute banger?
It will be. I've watched a lot of his fights in the past. I've seen him fight. I've actually trained with him once, and I always had the feeling that one day I'm gonna share the cage with him, and that feeling was right. It's gonna be a banger. His Fight Star is one of the biggest amateur and pro shows that we got in the UK. So we're both gonna do everything we can do for that belt. So it's gonna be die or kill.
And like you're saying, you have trained with him. How do you prepare for a fight that you've trained with the guy? He knows what you're good at, what might be your weaknesses. How do you train for something like that?
Luckily, we only trained. It was a little short session. It was in preparation for the IMF. I just wanted to see what the England squad looked like at the moment. So I joined the session, and more than anything, I believe you just got carry on with your strengths. Obviously, training and fighting is different. It's
Yeah.
not the same. What happens in training doesn't necessarily gonna replicate in a fight. I believe you just carry on training and the best you can. I always prepare for the worst eventuality. So whoever the best person I ever seen, I always prepare in my head, that's the person you find. And that's what I do all the time. So in my head, I'm fighting for a UFC belt. And it doesn't matter who it is, man. It doesn't really affect my training. I always train the same way. Train for the best, train for the worst nightmare you could ever have.
Exactly. And I think this is your sixth fight coming up this year. Is that correct?
I've lost count. I just fight. I just fight. I don't know what. All I know is within a year and 2 months, 3 months, I fought about 8 times. Now it's gonna be nine. I just want to fight.
And do you feel like that has just helped your overall development? Because there's nothing more valuable than that cage time.
There's absolute. Obviously, I've started training. You'd say late. I'm 23 now. I was 21 when I started training, 20, and I can make up the mad time that other people do. And the only way for
Yeah.
me to gain the experience is to fight. And I thought, if I'm not injured, I'm a fighter. My job is to fight. Luckily, thanks to God, I've never been injured during any of my fight, whether I've won or lost. I've been able to get back in there every month, if not every month and a half. And I'm just happy, man. So fighting, for any fighter, fighting is the only way to learn how to fight. Training is good, but it's not the same. That 9 minutes in the cage, even if it's 5 minutes, it levels you up all the time, whether you lose or win.
Exactly. And in that last fight, you were against 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Unfortunately, you
Yeah,
weren't you weren't able to get a victory.
I
However,
wasn't able to get a victory.
how much is having that fight as a championship bout? How much experience will that are you be able to take from that?
A lot, a lot. It's changed me a lot. One, I wanted to fight the bigger man. I've struggled to get matched recently at middleweight. I had there's a title shot available at light heavyweight. He's a great fighter. I'm attracted to things that scare me, and I thought, yeah, I can do it. I genuinely believed I could have done it. I genuinely believe I could do it. Obviously, I don't want to speak about that fight at the moment. This is another time, but it gave me a lot of experience. Firstly, my first potential 5 rounder, I believe I did blow my tank a little bit. Now I know what to expect. I know to be more patient. Now I know that it's just another fight. I don't need to do anything different. I've already been doing the right things. I don't need to let the moment get to me. It's just another fight. And then fighting the England captain, the bigger man, fighting the way I fought. It's just giving me more confidence. And there were in the gym. I've always been super disciplined. There's been little things outside the gym that I maybe could have done better. And now I understand that for me to be a full fighter, I can be half a foot in, a foot out. I gotta be a fighter in the gym and outside the gym. And that's is really it's finally give me the shot to make some changes. And now I'm happy that that's happened. I'm happy I've taken that loss. It's humbled me a bit. It's showed me things that I believed get away with, but clearly I can't. And now for this fight, I'm absolutely locked in.
And then also that wasn't your first time at light heavyweight. Do you feel like the reason you're taking these light heavyweight fights is because it keeps you active and it is keeping you inside that octagon?
It keeps me active, and unfortunately, one thing I've kind of noticed as a fighter, you kind of got to be a bit dumb. In a way, like as a fighter, you should never say no to a fight. I don't like you, that's why it's important to have the right management around you, which I do have. And I was advised maybe not to take the fight. I knew I was going to be significantly undersized. But a fighter is a fighter. A fighter wants to fight. A fighter wants to challenge. A fighter wants to feel that thrill. And that's what I do. No
And
shame
what,
in losing.
yeah. And what do you feel like Sydney brings that you maybe not seen before?
Sydney, I think, is a professional Muay Thai fighter or kickboxer. So I'm expecting good striking. I'm expecting composure. I'm expecting someone that's experienced, someone that ain't gonna be scared to get hit, someone that ain't gonna be scared to get touched. And he's got the advantage that he's been able to participate in the IMF and the Four Nations multiple times. So I'm expecting. I've fought very experienced guys already, to be honest, but he's got a lot of international fights. I'm expecting a well-rounded fighter, to be honest, someone that know what he's doing, someone that's well seasoned. Yeah, man, this is a tough fight, man.
And then is that something you might want to do like next year? Is those IMFs?
I'm absolutely looking to the IMF. The only issue, I don't have a British passport. I've actually got an Italian passport, but I've been in the UK for a long time. So for me to do the IMF, I think I'd have to go to Italy, do the qualifiers to represent Italy, which is still a possibility, absolutely. And I think I should absolutely do the Ironman before turning pro. Because once you turn pro, I'm probably gonna fight people from all over the world.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice feel to feel like I've fought in Amsterdam before, so I know how it feels to fight foreigners. I fought people from Sweden before on my debut. Actually, I fought. So and I do have a feel of like foreign fighters, but it'd be nice to maybe find the rush. And at the end of the day, they're humans, but I need to see it for myself. So it'd be wonderful to do the IMF in the next year, possibly.
Exactly. And how does it feel knowing that you are going to be competing at the Indigo at the O2? It's such a big venue, with a lot of big promotions coming to it. How does it feel to be able to perform on that stage?
It makes me feel like the guy. I know it's just an amateur fight, but a fight is never just a fight to me.
Yeah,
Every fight is a stepping stone towards the goal. So every fight is important, whether it's amateur or pro. And it makes me happy, man. Looking where I came from, the first fight I had was probably in the leisure center, and now I'm fighting the O2 Arena, man, or Indigo, where other big names have been. So it feels like I'm getting a step closer to where I want to get. And one day I'll be probably fighting the same arena again, but maybe it's going to be a UFC title or something else. Who knows? And it's going to be a good thing to look back at in a couple of years. And then, yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited, absolutely. And I feel privileged to be able to share the cage with Sydney in that type of arena in front of all those people, man. I feel privileged. I'm honestly grateful.
and it's not as if they've just rented out that space and tickets aren't being sold. I think I saw the other day 80% of the tickets have been sold. So it is going to be electric. It is going to have the atmosphere. How much does that make a difference to the fight?
It definitely is going. Everyone says that they don't care, but obviously now I feel good. I feel like it's gonna make no difference. But when it's time to step out and you're gonna see all those lights, all those cameras, who knows? But I'm good. I'm good under pressure. Pressure makes diamonds, and I believe you bring the best out of me. And I'm actually happy about that fight with Owen because I had an amazing first round, and seeing my people in the crowd maybe made me a bit too excited, made me lose concentration, and maybe lost a bit of the game plan. But from that fight, now I've learned that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where I am. I could be in the streets, I could be in the Coliseum. At the end of the day, it's me and him in the cage, no one else. So obviously I care about people watching, but I'm gonna act like there's nobody there. It's almost another sparring session, just trying to hurt each other a bit more.
Exactly. And what do you see your plans for 2025? Are you still wanting to be as active as you have been in 2024, or are you going to take it a wee bit slower?
I don't know, no slowing down. There's no slowing down. I believe as an amateur, it's probably the period where you should be as most active as you can. There's no elbows, short rounds. So there's no reason not to fight as an amateur. There's actually no reason. If you're healthy, you should fight. I'm gonna try. I don't want to be an amateur for too long, but at the same time, I don't want to rush the process. So I don't want to get to a
Yeah,
professional level having any major gaps. In order for me to become professional as soon as possible and still be a well-rounded fighter, I need to fight as much as I can. Hopefully, depends how it goes. If my next couple of fights go the right way, if I can beat Sydney now, I could probably look at fighting the number one middleweight, 𝗦𝗱𝗏𝗏s. If things go the right way, get the wins, stay as amateur as long as I can without delaying my career, then yeah, hopefully at least 8 fights maybe next year again. But if things go my way, then and my coaches believe that I got everything to make my pro debut, then halfway through the year, hopefully, if God's will, I might be looking towards, the pro ranks. If I believe that I need more work, then there's no rush. We can wait till the end of the year.
exactly. And like you said, you have got into the sport relatively late. What brought you into MMA?
Uh, thing I don't know. I think I was born to fight, man. I've always liked fighting, but as a young kid, all my friends play football, so I didn't want to be different. I'd rather play football. As I grew up, and I still like football, fell out in love with it. Things happened in my life. I started taking the wrong path and doing a lot of things. And then one day, me and my friend bought gloves, we sparred, and I was like, the feeling was just amazing, man. And I was like, you know what? I just walked to the first gym I could find, walked in there, and it became an addiction. Like I don't, so even when I didn't want to go, I felt like I had to, man. It's like I had no option, and then I just became so passionate. And that's the only thing that excites me now in life.
Exactly. And what was the toughest test so far in your career? What do you think's been that toughest test?
If I'm talking level of the fire, incredibly, it was probably my debut. From my first fight, I always told myself, if I really want to make it far, I do never, ever, ever want an easy fight. Never. And I remember trying to get matched up for my first fight. I could not get a match up. Anytime I get a fight, I was confident I was going to win. I would get a pull out. And then finally, I got a match up, and then it was this massive guy. I don't know what country, from Sweden. He lost. I remember looking at the picture and thinking, damn. I said yes. I got in the cage. The pressure got to me. I'd done good for 30 seconds. The moment we got to the ground, there was just levels, man. There was levels. But I'm happy that was my first fight. Because the way I went back to the gym, now I was aware of what's out there. I was aware of how good people can actually get and how much work I have to do in order to catch up to them. So it's an eye opener, and I'm happy. I'm happy I had it. But I'd definitely say my first fight was a fight I probably would want to get back, just to test myself and see where I am from that day. See how far I've gone. I know I've gone far, but I still, the embarrassment, the humiliation I felt. I know losing is normal, but it still sits in my heart.
Yeah.
All respect to him and everything. But he was definitely my toughest fight, skill-wise, physically, experience-wise. He was definitely the one.
Well, I can't wait to see you perform in that Indigo, get that victory, and we'll be able to speak ahead of the next big matchup. I'll let you have the final word. Is there anything you're wanting to say or anyone you're wanting to shout out?
I want to shout out my family, my coaches, my teammates. Even though you get in the cage alone, you bring in the cage everyone that's been around you, coaches, teammates, family, anyone that's ever supported you. You almost fighting, you get into fighting for yourself, but then you end up
Yeah,
almost fighting for other people. And I just want to make them proud. Of course, I want to win, but more than anything, I want to show them that all the time that's been invested in me is worth it. It's all been worth it. And I want to thank everyone around me, man.
Well, I
I
know
want
it's
to
going to
thank
be a
the mother of my child for the time she's taken away for allowing me to train. You know, it's not an easy sacrifice. He's doing, and I'm just grateful.
well, I know it's going to be a great matchup against Sydney, and it's a fight you definitely do not want to miss. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.